All right. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive into
Okay.
Napoleon Hill's
Okay.
The Law of Success.
All right.
And this is based on a series of audio lectures from the 1920s.
Okay.
So you might think the 1920s,
Yeah.
that's like ancient history.
Uh-huh.
But trust me, the stuff that Hell is talking about
Yeah,
is shockingly relevant,
It's,
even today in the 21st century.
it's really.
What's fascinating to me is that Hill interviewed like titans of industry, the most successful people of his era.
Yeah. What's interesting is that, in the 1920s, he was
Yeah.
interviewing people like Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, people that are, household names today for innovation.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to be able to look back and hear what the most successful people back then were thinking and doing.
Yeah, and how they achieved their
Mhm.
success.
That's right.
And that's what we're here for, is to unlock those principles
That's right.
and see how you can apply them in your own life
Yeah.
right now.
Mhm.
Hill's first big idea
Okay.
is this idea of the mastermind.
Okay.
And you might think that success is all about individual brilliance,
Yeah.
but Hill argues that it's actually about building a team of minds.
I like that.
Think of it as your own personal justice league,
Yeah.
each a specialist in their own area,
That's right.
working in perfect harmony
Mm-hmm.
toward
That's
your
right.
shared goal.
Yeah. And I think it's not even just a team of minds. It's like you are
Right.
creating this brain trust
Yeah.
that's going to help you to overcome your blind spots. That's going to help you to see
yeah.
things that you can't see.
Yeah.
And it's really about amplification,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
your success multiplied by the power of the collective,
Right.
right? And he even talks about how, it's not just delegation.
That's right.
It's about getting people that are specialists in their area that are going to come together to achieve a common goal.
So it's not about like passing off a task to someone. It's about bringing the right people in
Exactly.
to amplify your own strength.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He even uses this great anecdote about Henry Ford.
Oh, really?
In court, a lawyer was trying to, trip him up, ask him a technical question about his cars.
Right.
Thinking that he's got him cornered here.
Yeah.
But Ford just calmly replies, "Why would I clutter my mind with all those facts when I can just hire experts?"
Yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah, it's brilliant because it's kind of like
Yeah.
flipping the script on what we think success looks like, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's not about
Yeah.
being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
It's about having access to the smartest people.
Yeah. And it's about recognizing your limitations.
Yeah.
I think as a leader, as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur,
Uh-huh.
you need to be able to understand,
Yeah.
I can't do everything.
Yeah.
But I can find people
Right.
who are much better at this than I am.
Right.
I'm going to put them in a position to succeed, and we're all going to benefit as a result.
So it's recognizing that your strength comes from like organized knowledge,
That's right.
from having the right people around you.
That's right.
That really flips the script on what
It
you
does.
think success is.
It does.
It's not about being a lone wolf. It's about
Yeah.
building that brain trust.
Yeah, and one thing I like about what Hill talks about is,
Yeah.
he doesn't just talk in these abstract principles. He gives you very specific and concrete examples.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's missing from a lot of self-help books today.
Right.
They talk a good game, but they don't give you
Yeah.
the actual steps
Yeah.
to take. And so what I appreciate about Hill's work is he doesn't just stop at
Yeah.
here are these
Yeah.
principles. He actually gives you stories and examples
Yeah.
of how these have been implemented in the real world.
So we can really visualize how they work.
That's right.
How they play out
That's right.
in the real world.
I love that.
And so he doesn't stop there. He says you need this thing called a definite chief aim,
Okay.
which is just
Yeah.
a fancy way of saying know exactly what you want.
That
It's
is
like in business and in life, like
Yeah.
know what you want.
know what you want.
It's like a ship's rudder.
It is.
Without it, you're just drifting at the mercy
You're just drifting.
of the currents.
That's right.
And he contrasts this
Oh, yeah.
like aimless peanut seller
Yeah.
working hard,
Yeah.
but with no real direction,
Mm-hmm.
with these giants like
Uh.
F.W. Woolworth,
Mm-hmm.
Henry Ford, Helen Keller. Yeah.
What do all these people have in common?
Yeah.
They have this burning desire.
Yeah.
They have this
Yeah.
definite chief aim
Exactly.
that they're working toward.
And it's not just wishful thinking. It's
Right.
about that laser focus.
It's about having that thing that
Yeah.
gets you out of bed in the morning.
Right.
It keeps you up late at night.
Yeah.
That's that driving force.
It's that burning desire that helps you
Yeah,
overcome those obstacles.
absolutely.
So think of it this way. If you're driving cross country you need to know where you're going.
You got to know where you're going.
Otherwise, you'll just be driving in circles.
That's right.
So we've got the mastermind.
Yeah.
We've got the definite chief aim.
Mm-hmm.
But then Hill takes us deeper into the psychology of success.
Yeah.
With this concept of autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion.
Now, I'll admit this sounds a little out there.
It does at first.
But it's actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if you could like reprogram your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Like installing new software.
Yeah.
That's kind of what autosuggestion is all about.
Yeah.
You repeatedly impress your goal on your mind.
Yeah.
And it starts working towards it even when you're not consciously thinking about it.
It's like planting a seed.
It is.
In your mind.
Yeah.
And letting it grow.
Yeah, like you plant the seed and then you got to water it, you got to fertilize it.
Right.
You got to give it sunlight.
Yeah.
But eventually that seed will sprout.
Yeah. And Hill Hills has this incredible story about this prisoner.
I love the story of Louis Victor Attach.
Louis Victor Attach, yeah.
Serving a life sentence, believed he was dying of tuberculosis.
Wow.
Talk about a bleak.
Talk about a bleak situation. This is like rock bottom, right?
But this guy is a perfect example of someone who took the principles of the definite chief aim and autosuggestion and used them to literally overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Yeah. This guy decided that he was going to regain his health. Wow. And his freedom. Wow. And he started by, writing in prison. He honed his skills. He started writing stories. He started writing articles. He started writing books.
And he got out.
He got out.
Wow.
And he built a whole new life for himself.
Yeah.
Outside those prison walls.
So that's the power of a focused mind, right?
Of a focused mind.
Yeah.
It's about consciously choosing the thoughts that you feed your mind.
So it's not just about positive thinking. It's about aligning.
It's about aligning
your subconscious.
Your subconscious mind.
With your goals.
With your goals, that's right.
I love that.
That's right.
Okay.
So we've got these big ideas.
Yeah.
Mastermind. Definite chief aim.
Definite chief aim.
Autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion, yeah.
And it's all starting to come together now.
Yeah, it really is.
Right.
But Hill doesn't stop at just...
He doesn't just
defining these principles.
He
gives you specific steps to put them into practice.
And that's what I love about Hill's work.
Right.
Is that it's not just theoretical, it's practical.
Right.
He gives you things that you can actually use and implement.
So it's not enough to just understand.
Yeah. You have to actively
use them.
So what's the first step?
The first step is to define your definite chief aim.
Okay.
What is that one thing you want to achieve
above
all else? Yeah. Write it down.
Make it real.
Make it real.
Okay, so we're talking about getting crystal clear.
That's right.
On our goals, putting them in writing. Mm-hmm. So they're not just
floating around in our heads.
Floating around.
Okay.
Put it down on paper. Make it tangible.
Yeah. And once you have that.
Dill
says it's time to build
your mastermind alliance.
Okay.
Those people that you trust. Yeah. Who are going to support you. Yeah. On this journey.
So it's like having your own personal board of advisors.
That's right.
Your dream team.
Your dream team. That's a great way.
For success.
To think about it. Yeah.
So it's about leveraging.
Yeah.
The power of the collective, surrounding yourself with people
that are gonna
who will encourage you, challenge you, hold you accountable.
And
that's not a solo mission.
No, it's not.
It's about
teamwork. It's about collaboration. It's about shared success.
Yeah. I love that.
That's right.
So Hill uses this great analogy.
He does.
To illustrate.
He compares it to
the power of bridge.
Organized effort.
Think about how much weight a bridge can support.
Yeah.
It's not because of any single beam. Yeah. It's because of how they're all organized.
Working together.
Yeah. Strength through structure.
Yeah.
That's right. And each piece playing, it's a part. And he's got this other great analogy where he talks about a father that challenges his sons to break a bundle of sticks. Yeah. Individually. Yeah. They can snap them. Like that. But bundled together.
Right.
Impossible.
Yeah.
To break.
It's that principle.
That's right.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Divided we fall.
And that applies to everything.
To everything.
From building a
building a company,
to tackling social issues.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the power of the mastermind.
The mastermind.
The definite chief aim, and this idea of organized effort.
That's right.
But Hill doesn't just stop.
He doesn't just stop.
At the practical, he also digs deep.
At the practical, he goes into the psychology.
Into the psychology.
Behind it all.
Behind it all, right. So he emphasizes that success isn't just about willpower or hard work.
It's about understanding how our minds work.
How your mind works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about rewiring.
Yeah, we're talking about rewiring.
Our brains for success.
Your brain for success. That's right.
You got that.
And, and so much of the personal development world is focused on this idea of willpower.
Right.
Like if you could just muster up enough willpower, you could achieve anything.
Yeah, I disagree.
But willpower is a finite resource.
Yeah.
It is.
Right, it's like a muscle that gets tired.
It gets tired. So Hill recognized that you can't just rely on willpower.
Right.
You have to understand how your mind works.
Yeah.
You have to understand the principles of autosuggestion, of belief.
Yeah.
And use those to your advantage.
So he believed that autosuggestion is
the key.
The key
to programming your subconscious mind.
Okay.
For success.
Yeah.
So it's about...
So we're talking about visualizations, affirmations.
Yes.
Anything that reinforces our belief that we can achieve what we set out to do.
I love that. Yeah.
It's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
That's right.
It's about creating a mental environment.
A mental environment.
That supports our goals.
That supports your goals, yeah.
Think of Oprah.
Oprah?
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Even like fictional characters.
Yeah.
Like
Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa, right.
Like these people all had
this unwavering belief.
Right.
In themselves, in their vision.
Yeah.
And
but how do we actually
put this into practice?
Put this into practice. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all these ideas.
Yeah, I think that's where people get tripped up.
Right.
Is that they read all these, they listen to all these podcasts, but they don't actually take action.
Right.
And so Hill's brilliance is that he gives us the practical steps.
Okay.
Like you don't have to figure this out on your own.
Right.
He's laid it out for you.
Okay, so let's go through
step by step.
The steps.
Yeah.
Imagine a man who wants to be a successful public speaker.
Okay.
But freezes up every time he gets on stage.
Oh, I know. Right. I know that feeling.
Stage fright is the worst.
Yeah, stage fright is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so
how does this guy
overcome his fear?
He starts by using autosuggestion.
Okay.
Every night.
Yeah.
He visualizes himself giving a powerful speech to a packed room.
Okay.
He feels the confidence, the connection with the audience, the effortless flow of words.
Okay.
So he's essentially...
So he's training his mind to believe.
He's training his mind to believe in his ability.
To believe in his ability.
Before he even steps on stage.
Before he ever steps
I love that.
On stage.
Oh, so...
That's the power of autosuggestion. He's creating new...
Rewiring our neural pathways.
For success.
In his brain.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And when you combine that with...
the Mastermind Alliance, it becomes an unstoppable force.
Yeah, think about F.W. Woolworth.
F.W. Woolworth.
The man who built built an empire of 5 and dime stores.
Of 5 and dime stores.
Yeah.
And
his definite chief aim was... to make affordable goods accessible to everyone.
To everyone.
He believed in this vision so strongly that he was willing to risk everything
to achieve it.
To act it.
Who is in his mastermind?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I mean,
moved him.
He obviously had employees, he had business partners,
right?
He had mentors, and he had
just like
his customers,
right?
Because he created this culture of collaboration.
So he wasn't just
of shared success.
A brilliant businessman.
Yeah,
he understood the power.
He understood the power
of leveraging the
collective intelligence and energy.
That's right.
Of his mastermind.
Yeah, it wasn't about him.
About it?
Being a lone genius.
It
was about creating a system.
It was about creating
for success.
A system for success.
And we can see the same principle.
But we can see this principle in other areas. Of life. Not just business.
Not just business.
Think about someone like Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr.
His definite chief aim.
Was
racial equality.
Like racial equality.
In America.
And
he had this unshakable belief.
Unshakable belief in his vision.
Yeah. And he faced unimaginable
adversity.
The adversity
to make it a reality. Yeah.
His mastermind. Must have been incredible.
I mean, think about all
to support him.
The people that he had around him.
Through all of that.
Yeah. I mean, you had other civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
Activists.
Community organizers.
Yeah.
Millions of ordinary people who shared his dream of a more just society.
It's a testament to the power of a shared vision and the unwavering support of the Mastermind Alliance. And Hill shows us that these principles aren't just theories.
They're not just theories.
They're
tools
for creating real lasting change. In the world.
That's right.
And that's what makes his work so relevant.
So relevant.
Even today. Is that he's giving us a roadmap, not just for personal success, but for creating a better future.
For creating a better future for everyone.
Yeah. He's reminding us that we have the power to shape our own destinies.
That's right.
To create the lives we want. And
to make a positive impact.
Make a positive
impact on the world.
Impact on the world.
That's right.
But it all starts
with understanding these principles.
And
putting them into practice. And one of the most powerful tools for putting these principles into practice.
The most powerful tool is self-reflection. Hill encourages us to ask ourselves some tough questions.
Like what?
What would you do?
Yeah.
Even if you knew you couldn't fail.
Oh, wow.
What would you be doing if money were no object?
Yeah.
What brings you the greatest joy and fulfillment?
Those are the questions.
That really get to the heart of who you are.
Of who we are and what we want.
And what you truly want.
In life. Yeah.
It's not about solitary. It's soul searching. It's about bouncing
ideas off trusted advisors.
Yeah, those trusted advisors getting different perspectives. And insights.
Yeah,
I think it's about brainstorming your way to your definite chief aim. Right. And it's about using the collective wisdom
and experience.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the law of success. We've been unpacking Hill's principles for achieving lasting success.
Yeah.
And, it's fascinating to me how he connects the dots between these seemingly different ideas. We talked about the mastermind, the power of auto-suggestion, the importance of a definite chief aim, all these tools for building a success mindset. It's like laying the foundation.
We're laying the foundation.
You need a strong base.
You got to have
before you can start building upward.
The foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Hill also recognizes that there are these roadblocks. These fears.
Fears that
hold us back. He outlines 6 basic fears that are pretty universal, like the fear of poverty, old age, criticism, things that we probably all grapple with. Yeah.
To some extent.
On some level.
Right.
And what's interesting is that Hill connects these fears.
He connects.
Not just to human nature, but also to the environment we grow up in.
Right.
He calls it
social heredity.
Yeah, social heredity.
The idea that...
It's this idea that...
we inherit...
beliefs and behaviors.
From our surroundings. That's right.
So think about a child.
A kid.
Who sees their parents constantly struggling with money. That child might develop this.
Yeah, that child might develop a...
deep-seated fear.
Of
poverty.
Even
if they never actually experience it.
Have never experienced...
It's firsthand.
Real poverty.
So it's like...
It's like an invisible inheritance.
Inheritance.
Yeah, that we pick up.
Yeah. So how do we break free from these?
Our parents.
And inherited fears.
Our peers.
Yeah.
From society.
Hill believes
the key is...
self-confidence.
Yeah. But it's not
just about
About feeling good.
Feeling good about yourself.
About yourself.
It's about having this.
It's about having that deep-seated belief.
Deep-seated belief.
In your ability
to overcome challenges.
And achieve your goals no matter those challenges. And to achieve
obstacles you face.
Your goal.
It's that inner knowing that you've got what it takes.
That you've got what it takes.
To succeed.
That's right.
So
how do we cultivate?
How do we cultivate that?
That kind of
unshakable
self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
Hill suggests using
a
strategy we've already talked about.
He suggests using auto-suggestion.
Auto-suggestion.
Remember we talked about how it's like reprogramming?
It's like reprogramming.
Your subconscious mind.
Your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
By consistently feeding it.
Positive thoughts and beliefs.
Thoughts and beliefs, that's right.
So it's about intentionally choosing.
It's about consciously choosing.
The thoughts we dwell on.
The thoughts that you dwell on.
But how do we actually
actually
put this into practice? Can you give us an example?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hill tells the story of this salesman who was struggling with a fear of rejection.
Okay.
He was afraid to approach potential customers.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that seemed
tough.
Tough to crack.
To crack.
So he decided to
challenge himself. Okay.
He deliberately targeted.
So he's intentionally
those impossible clients.
Putting himself
in those uncomfortable
situations.
He was afraid to approach.
Facing his fear head on.
He was facing his fear head on.
And by doing so, he not only honed his...
By doing so?
Yeah.
He honed his sales skills.
But he also built... Incredible self-confidence.
Yeah.
He proved to himself that he could handle rejection.
That's right.
That he could succeed even in the face. Of adversity. And I bet that. Confidence spilled over.
Into different
areas of his life.
Other areas of his life.
It's
absolutely did.
A great example
of how we can actually train ourselves.
The go-to guy.
To be more resilient.
For landing those impossible deals.
To see challenges as opportunities.
He just had this aura of confidence that drew people to him. And so...
Hill takes this idea even further.
He compares our minds.
Our minds are like...
To gardens we can choose.
To plant seeds of doubt.
Or
seeds of self-belief. It's up to us to decide.
It's to us.
What we cultivate.
To decide what we...
I love that analogy. Because it really highlights...
I love that analogy too. The power of choice.
Yeah.
We have the power to decide what we focus on.
We have the power to...
What we nurture.
Decide.
Within ourselves.
What we focus on, what we nurture.
Within ourselves.
We're
not just...
Passive recipients. Of our thoughts and feelings. Actively shape them.
We can actively... And this leads us to another important concept.
That's right. And that...
He'll emphasize...
Leads us to another important concept. That Hill really drives this point home.
Of habit.
Yeah.
We've all heard that. He uses this great analogy to shape our lives.
But he says the mind
really drives this point home.
Is like
he uses this great analogy
of a phonograph
needle. He says the mind is like a phonograph needle.
Stuck in a groove.
Okay. Our habits create those grooves.
And our thoughts and actions just automatically follow them.
We're often on autopilot, driven by... Those ingrained
patterns of behavior.
And he even uses this. Funny story. About a bullfrog. Who learns to avoid a fishhook. After one bad experience. If a bullfrog can reprogram its behavior...
I love that story.
Yeah.
If a bullfrog can reprogram its behavior...
Imagine what we humans
can do. With conscious effort.
It's a funny image, but...
it
makes a powerful point.
Yeah. So we can consciously choose the habits we want to cultivate.
Always easy.
It's not always easy.
But it's definitely
possible.
And when it comes to building self-confidence...
self-confidence...
It's very specific.
It gives us a very specific...
formula.
Write down your goals. Visualize yourself.
Achieving them.
Repeat
affirmations.
Daily.
And focus
while providing value.
value to others.
To others. It's almost like
creating
a system for retraining your mind.
For retraining your mind, that's right.
Like a mental workout routine.
Mental workout routine.
For self-belief.
For self-belief.
I love that.
And by repeating these
actions
consistently,
you're essentially creating
these actions consistently are essentially creating
a mental blueprint.
A mental blueprint
for the person you want to become.
Okay. So we're starting to see how self-confidence plays a key role.
How self-confidence
and Hill's philosophy
plays a key role.
And this brings us to another interesting connection.
Philosophy.
A link between.
And this brings us to another interesting connection.
What's that?
The link between confidence
real viewed
and debt.
Debt as
more than just financial burden.
Debt as more than just
a
financial burden.
As a psychological.
He believed that
being in debt
keeps people trapped in a poverty consciousness.
Poverty consciousness.
What is poverty consciousness?
Well, it's a state of mind.
Okay.
Where you're constantly focused on lack.
Well, and scarcity.
Lack and scarcity.
You're worried about money.
Right. And that fear undermines your self-belief.
That fear undermines your self-belief and makes it even harder.
To break free.
To break free from the cycle of debt. It's
like self-fulfilling prophecy.
The more you focus.
The more you focus.
On what you don't have. The less likely
you are to attract abundance
into your life. And it's not just about
the actual
amount of debt.
You
have. It's about the mindset.
It's
about the mindset. It creates.
It can make you feel powerless.
Yeah, it can.
Trapped, like you're
creating. Why do you feel powerless? Trapped, playing
catch up.
Constantly playing catch up.
Yeah. But the mental game
is says it is
a financial one.
As much as it.
And Hill uses this great example to illustrate.
This.
He tells the story of this young chauffeur. Making decent money, but he's always broke.
Making decent money.
So he decides to track his...
He's always broke.
Spending.
So he decides to track...
For a week.
The spending.
And he's shocked by what he discovers.
You're shocked by what he discovers.
Those daily coffees, those impulse purchases.
Those daily coffees, those impulse purchases, they all add up.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
So like death by 1,000 cuts.
And it's not that you can't.
Yeah, and it's...
Enjoy those things.
Not that you can't.
But it's about being aware.
Enjoy.
Of where your money is going.
But it's about being aware. Of where your money is going.
Making conscious choices.
Consciously
big
choices rather than just mindlessly spending.
So Hill's encouraging us to be more mindful.
With our finances, to plug those leaks. So we can start building
a valid foundation.
So we can start building a solid foundation.
And it's not about deprivation.
It's about
making choices that align with your values.
Align with your value.
And your goals.
It's
about taking control of your finances.
So
you can create possibilities.
Of your finances, so you can create possibilities for yourself.
And
saving even
small amounts.
Can have a huge
psychological impact. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's about proving to yourself that you're capable.
It's about proving.
Of managing your money.
To yourself.
That you're not a victim of your circumstance.
That you're capable of managing your money. That you're not a victim of.
Of shifting your mindset.
Your circumstances.
From scarcity.
It's a way of
shifting your mindset. Of demonstrating to yourself that you have the power.
From scarcity to abundance.
To create a better financial future.
You're demonstrating to yourself.
And Hill actually shares.
That you have the power to create an example of this principle in action.
Financial future.
He talks about a guy named Terry.
And Hill actually shares a modern-day example
of this principle
in action.
He talks about
constantly struggling with debt.
A guy named Terry.
And overspending.
Who was...
Sounds like a lot of people.
Making good money, but was constantly struggling.
I know.
With debt and overspending.
Terry turned things around.
Sounds like a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
So how did Terry turn things around?
He started by
taking a hard look. At his spending. The spending habits. He moved to a cheaper apartment.
Okay.
Cut back on unnecessary reducing and
consolidating debt to get a lower interest rate.
But the key was that he also started saving. Even though he was still in debt. He set aside a small amount each week. Consistently.
Each week, consistent.
Even when it felt like a stretch.
It's
about the bounce back.
It's about taking those small, consistent actions that
add up over time.
It's like planting a seed.
And nurturing it patiently.
You might not see the fruits of your labor right away.
See the fruits
of your labor right away.
That seed will grow.
But with consistency,
into something.
That seed will grow into something strong and fruitful.
That's a beautiful way
to put it.
And it applies
to so much more than just
saving money.
It's
about understanding the power of consistently making choices.
Of compounding, consistently making choices.
Long-term support.
You're shifting our focus
long-term
from the immediate gratification.
It's about shifting
long-term rewards
from immediate gratification to the long-term reward.
Eyes back to self-confidence. When you take control.
All ties back.
Of your finances, start making choices control of your finances.
It reinforces
when you start making choices.
Your belief
that align with your values
in yourself. It shows you that you have the power to create the life you want.
It shows you
you have a really thought-provoking
power to create the life
it's amazing.
You want.
House Hill connects all these seemingly disparate ideas.
A really thought-provoking discussion. Self-confidence, the power of habit, the importance of saving.
So far, it's amazing how Hill connects all of these seemingly disparate.
A master at seeing the big picture.
Ideas.
He understood that success isn't just about one thing.
That's seeing the big
picture.
Aligning your thoughts.
Your beliefs
and your actions.
Isn't just about one thing. It's about
aligning your beliefs and your actions.
So it's not just
to create a life of purpose.
Achieving external success.
And fulfillment.
It's about.
So it's not just about achieving.
Cultivating that inner
resilience.
Success it's about.
That allows us.
Cultivating that inner strength and resilience that allows us and create that inner strength and resilience. That allows us to navigate
lasting change. That's a great way to put it. Lasting change.
There's still so much more to explore.
To put it in.
In part 3, we'll dive into Hill's insights about taking initiative.
So much more to explore.
Becoming
an effective leader and the importance of service.
We'll see how all these principles together to create a roadmap.
And the importance of
service.
Not to create rosinal success. But also for making
positive impact on the world.
Come together to create a roadmap, not just for personal success, but also for making a positive impact on the world around us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success. So we've been exploring these foundational principles for success, the mastermind, auto-suggestion, conquering those 6 basic fears.
That's right.
But all that's really just preparation for the main event.
Yeah, it's like we've been building this powerful engine.
Right.
And now it's time to put it in gear.
Okay.
And hit the gas.
Exactly. And in this final part, we're going to talk about how to actually make things happen.
Yeah.
And that's initiative. It's one thing to have big dreams and a positive mindset.
Right.
But it's another to actually take that first step to turn those dreams into reality.
It is. And I think Hill makes a really good point.
Yeah.
When he says that ideas are only valuable when they're put into action.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have the greatest idea in the world, but if you don't actually do anything with it, it's worthless.
Yeah. So one of the things
that he observed
is that fear.
That fear especially
the fear of poverty.
Poverty
can be a major roadblock.
Can be a major roadblock to initiative.
When you're constantly worried about money, it's hard to
That's right.
muster.
You're in survival mode.
The energy and focus.
Yeah.
To go after your goal.
You're just trying to keep your head above water.
Yeah. It's
you don't have the mental bandwidth.
Stuck in survival mode. Just
trying to
think about
get under
bigger
your head
and better things.
Above water.
Yeah.
And Hill. So Hill says that
argues that we need to shift
our
perspective.
Instead of focusing on what we lack, we need to develop a prosperity consciousness.
We need to develop a prosperity consciousness.
So it's about cultivating that belief in abundance.
Yeah, that there's
enough for everybody.
Enough for everyone. That we have the power. To create a better financial future for ourselves.
That's right. And remember, even small actions.
Just
help shift.
Can help shift.
That mindset. We talked about saving.
We talked about
in the last part.
Saving. Even setting aside.
The last part.
A small amount.
Even setting aside.
Each week.
A small amount each week.
Can start to change. It shows you that you're taking control, that you're capable of creating a more abundant future.
Taking control that you're capable of creating.
It's like those small wins.
A more abundant future.
That build, small wins that build momentum.
Just proving to yourself.
That's a great
way to think about it.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. That's right.
And this idea of initiative.
Yeah. And this idea of
initiative
goes beyond.
Hill was a huge advocate for investing. Finances.
In yourself.
Hill was a huge advocate for investing.
In your skills.
In yourself.
Your knowledge.
Your personal growth.
Your knowledge.
He said, no one who lacks faith in himself.
Your personal growth.
Is really educated.
He said no one.
So he's saying that true education.
Who lacks faith?
Isn't just about accumulating.
Himself is really
educated.
It's about believing in your potential.
So he's saying
constantly striving.
That true education isn't just about accumulating knowledge.
It's about feeding your mind.
It's about
believing in
feed your body,
your potential, and constantly striving.
Right.
To grow and learn.
And that investment fuels.
It's about feeding your mind just as you feed.
Your self-confidence, giving you the courage to step outside your comfort zone and take initiative.
Your body, right? And that investment.
That's saying the more you learn.
Self-confidence.
The more you realize.
Giving you how much you don't know.
The courage to step outside your comfort zone and take initiative.
Exactly. It's like that saying.
It's about embracing that lifelong journey.
Learn the more you realize how much you don't know.
Learning and growth.
Exactly.
And Hill believed
it's about
this mindset of continuous learning,
that
lifelong journey
of learning
for effective leadership
and growth. And Hill believed that this mindset,
a great leader
of continuous learning and self-improvement,
according to Hill, is it about
being charismatic,
effective leadership,
being a strong speaker?
Yeah.
Those qualities.
It makes a great leader,
according to Hill.
Being charismatic being
is about much more than that.
A strong speaker.
He said, no man.
Well, those qualities can certainly
and become a great leader.
Be helpful.
Of men.
But Hill believed.
Unless he has the milk of human kindness in his own heart.
That true leadership.
I love that.
Is about much more than that.
So he believed that.
He said, no man.
The best leaders inspire through.
The real leader.
Example through genuine belief.
He has the milk of.
Through force.
Or manipulation.
His own heart.
So it's not about barking orders or like micromanaging people.
Yeah.
It's about.
So he believed.
Empowering others.
The best leaders.
About creating an environment where they can thrive.
Inspire. It's about recognizing.
Through genuine belief.
A potential in others. And helping them to develop their talents.
Manipulation.
It's about inspiring them to believe.
So it's not about barking order.
Micromanaging.
Towards a shared vision.
It's about creating a culture of collaboration.
It's about empowering others. It's about creating an environment where they can thrive.
Contribute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing
potential.
And that brings us
skills circle
and helping them to develop
their talents.
That true success isn't just about
inspiring them.
Achieving personal goals.
They'll believe
in themselves.
To a positive impact.
And to work in the world towards a shared vision.
It's about
creating a culture
larger than ourselves.
Others, our families, our communities, or society as a whole.
Where everyone.
It's about recognizing.
Feels valued.
That we're all interconnected and that our actions
and empowered
have a ripple effect.
When we focus on creating positive outcomes.
Contribute their ideas.
For others, we create a rising tide.
And that brings us full circle.
Oh, it's all
Bowles' emphasis.
It's not a zero-sum game. It's a collaborative
service. He believed that true success isn't just about
a better future,
achieving personal goals.
For everyone.
It's about.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Napoleon Hill,
impact,
the law of success
on the world around us.
What are the key takeaways? What do we want our listeners to remember?
Yeah, what are those things that people can take away and apply to their own lives?
I think the most important message...
is...
that success is within reach.
That success is within reach for everyone.
Everyone.
It's not about...
luck or special talent.
Special talent. Understanding and applying these timeless principles. It's about understanding and applying these timeless...
It's about developing the right mindset.
Principles.
Cultivating positive habits. Then taking consistent action towards your goals.
Right mindset.
It's about surrounding yourself.
Cultivating.
With a supportive mastermind.
Positive habit.
Harnessing the power.
And taking consistent action.
Of autosuggestion. And overcoming those fears.
Goals.
That might be holding you back.
It's about surrounding yourself with...
It's about taking initiative.
A supportive mastermind.
Investing in your personal growth.
Harnessing the power
and striving to
autosuggestion and overcoming those fears that might be
a positive contribution to the world,
holding you back. It's about taking initiative.
Hill's work reminds us that we have the power
investing in
to create the lives we desire and to leave a lasting legacy.
Your personal growth and striving to make a positive contribution.
It's been an incredible
world
journey exploring these ideas.
Hill's work reminds us that we have the power to create the lives we desire and to leave.
And we encourage you to take these principles and apply them.
A lasting legacy.
To your own life.
It's been...
Start small, stay consistent, and never stop believing.
Incredible.
In your ability to create a more successful and fulfilling future.
Journey exploring.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
These ideas, and we encourage you to take these principles and apply them to your own life. Start small. Stay consistent, and never stop believing in your ability to create a more successful and fulfilling future.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.